welcome to the World Builders Library. This is Lewis Nichols. I'm your host, and a lot of the time I talk about this idea of 1,000 words on this or 1,000 words on that. And that's kind of my baseline for getting some introduction to an area. If you are planning on moving your campaign, opening up a new area, say they can now travel to this island over here, do 1,000 words on it. It'll get you started. It gives you a framework to introduce your players and something to build off of when you need more detail. So recently, I've been opening up this new region, or the possibility of it, kind of into the mindscape of my players. It's a long distance away, but there's a teleport network connecting it, so it's a place that they can travel. It's also a place that involves the greater quest line. They are opposed to, the party, the whole region, is opposed to the Demon Lord Dagon and his cabal of Demon Lords. And they have a pretty big force to deal with. This is more than something that just the party is. It's a whole regional conflict that's been heating up and going on hot and cold for centuries. Recently, a powerful being, possibly a god, maybe better termed as a demigod, could be some kind of greater demon lord named Sheket, has reappeared in the larger campaign zone. And that deity is associated with Dagon over the last millennia. And this Sheket being has dedicated its vile efforts into causing problems down in this river valley basin area. So it is very possible the PCs will become involved. They might just want to go visit. One of the things I love doing in Dungeons & Dragons as a player and a DM is just thinking about new areas, and as a player visiting them, learning about the culture, much like a world traveler would in real life. So I've written this up based on their interactions with this representative at a governmental summit that happens a few times a year, where various leaders, primarily of the Heston Authority, congregate and plan their futures. So this is information gleaned from that brief discussion. Zarek of the Vipers, PC player, with Yin of Yoi. Yoi being we talk about that later. So we're 4 minutes in. Let's get into the script. Yoi is a small state among the hundreds, large and small, that occupy the Jasaniwik River Basin. It encompasses the city of Yoi and the surrounding countryside, a total area of about 500 square miles with 60,000 people. Pretty small state. These are mostly humans, with autonomous gnomes in the hilly border region. By autonomous, I don't mean they're automatons. I mean that they are a state, a little governmental tribal nation of gnomes inside this area of Yoi. There is also a cluster of Hema along the river. Hema are hippo-headed humanoids. They are Valido, they are levelable, and apparently they like fish. Hema constitute about 1 in 100,000 human births among those living near the Jasaniwik. They are considered a good omen, but many cluster in communities to be with others of their kind. They can breed together, though not easily, and produce Hemai, who are smaller. Successive generations are less fertile. The Jasaniwik River is 4,000 miles long. It's a long river, and it's navigable for much of that. A number of its tributaries are over 1,000 miles on their own. It's wide, with a number of lakes and river islands along its route. The overall footprint of the basin and the civilizations that occupy it is about 10 million square miles. That's like India, China, and Indochina all combined. Several pockets of civilization along the river and the interior survived the Umbra largely unscathed. About 40% of the superregion is considered severely affected, another 40% moderately affected. There are major populations of all the usual Velito, with dwarves being the most underrepresented, and there are 3 species of reptilian humanoids being quite noticeable. As an overall trend, settlements tend to be more segregated than they are in the northern crest. The great unifying factor of the river basin is the church of the river god Imbolc. Even as he swept away the Umbra with a wave of his fisherman's net, he enabled the teleport circles of his temples and empowered his strongest clerics to expand that network. With this single act, Imbolc asserted a singular hegemony over the Jasaniwik, establishing himself as the god emperor of the region. Below him are the major gods of the region, ruling like governors over their particular divine provinces, and the lesser gods more attuned to geographical affairs. The river can be considered in 2 major portions, the upper and the lower. However, the area around the earth sign split is often considered a region standing alone. The upper river consists of the Jaspora River, the Telltales Valleys, the Kramen Arwa, and when it's not incorporated into the Middle River region, the Blue Highlands are bunched in here as well. The upper region is set aside ethnically and culturally in a number of ways. Blood-influenced species are more common. These include things like Dragonborn, Tieflings, and Goliath. Genasi are also more common here. This is believed to be a result of the Meridian obelisks, many of which were thought to be ruined during the Umbra, but which have begun to rebuild power in recent months. So what are these Meridian obelisks? There are thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, of documented obelisks throughout the upper river regions. Some are damaged, but most emanate magical effects. They are all different, though some only by the slightest margins. They are all, the working ones anyway, a boon to the local life or a bane to those who would seek to do harm. Some make the local population smarter or wiser. Others make the local ground more fertile. Some make the coffee stronger. Others heal. And one marks shapeshifters within a mile with a glow. Human ethnic groups in the upper river region tend towards very dark skin. The local wood elves lean toward a rusty hue, and high elves have purple skin. Halflings are taller than their norm. The river is certainly important here in the east, but not like farther down. Shipwrights are local, none of them required to build anything seaworthy or particularly grand. Ranching is common, as is farming. Sheep, cattle, pigs, goats, and fowl are all raised and eaten here, as well as mammals and reptiles unique to the area. Corn is a staple that competes with river fish. The lower river is wholly centered around the Jasaniwik. Several of the great states maintain navies. There are mighty shipyards capable of producing ships with a variety of magical attributes. Halflings are more common here, and in Bosham's Hunger, elves are numerous. Lizard folk and amphibious species are numerous, with several large towns being populated almost exclusively by one race or another. Much of the lower river is more influenced by a war culture. Both in the north and in the south, there is a history of conflict against incursions. In the north, it's a combination of wild elves and demons from the abyss. In the south, it's foreign nations and barbarians wishing to take territory and resources. Weather-wise, the superregion is near tropical, with the coasts never seeing real winter except at higher altitudes. The upper region will see some snow during most winters, with real cold spurts only affecting the Telltale Valley region. Depending on high-level winds, storm systems can move in pretty much any direction, occasionally creating cyclonic patterns. This is when the heaviest rains might occur. Weather-related flooding can be a problem and is generally random and sudden. As sending stone technology returns to towns and small villages, an alert system is starting to become reestablished. Little word on music. Strings and verse has been the norm of tavern life for at least a decade. Wind often accompanies, drums are usually their own thing and not as common, existing as something of a counterculture. During the Umbra, the region had similar problems to other civilized parts of the world. Dozens of ancient evils escaped containment. Jasaniwik was lucky in that most of these were not world enders, but instead more insidious rule from the shadow types. A number of powerful devils, jinn, dragons, and undead remain at large. This is played into the political scene as every decision is suspected by some faction as being influenced by a dark power. Sheket is the clear, imminent threat to the river valley. Currently, the Jaspora subregion is embroiled in a civil war where the only winner might be the demigod. Every faction involved in the conflict has been accused of allegiance to the Fiend at some point in the last few months. Aside from establishing treaties governing normalized trade and travel via the growing teleport network, there is only one plea from the governments of Jasaniwik to the Northern Crest. Hold the line against Dagon. If Sheket and Dagon are able to unify their will, no one will be able to stand against them. Alright, that's it. It sets a general mood. It gives you a brief idea of the geographic situation. It enlightens you about culture. It tells you motivations. It's a huge area. It's you could do another 1,000 words on whatever particular spot the party is most likely to visit. This is a starting document. This is the kind of thing that you build on. And that is the sort of thing that is all we have time for today. It should be a relatively short Friday release video, and we are going to come back. We're gonna do some world building in the Jasaniwik River Basin. It looks like my party is going north instead of south, so there'll probably be some stuff in that direction first. But hey, we're heading into a new year, and we're talking about another 60, 70, 80 episodes that going to be coming your way in 2026. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. You are all important people to this world. We're better off with you. I will see you next time. I love you all. Cheers.